Thank you for the introduction, Prof. Dr. Ho. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, the irony is we are in a treatment track, and I'm supposed to talk about something that is not related to treatment, but that's how the cards were played. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm Harpreet. I'm the Executive Director of the Malaysian Pharmacists Society. Today I'll be sharing how professional organizations, particularly pharmacy bodies like MPS, which is Malaysian Pharmacists Society, are going beyond traditional roles to drive change in cancer care and empower communities. Okay, so I guess, am I supposed to click to move the slides? Next. Oops. Gonna need some help here, please.
It's already in the track already. But yeah, who is the technical person?
My apologies. Let me begin with a quick overview on who we are. MPS was established in 1967 and today represents over 5,000 pharmacists across community, hospital, industry, academia, and regulatory sectors. This wide reach gives us a unique ability to influence both health systems and public behavior. We collaborate a lot with the Ministry of Health, with professional societies, other professional societies, universities, NGOs, and international bodies such as FIP and CPA, which is the Federation of International Pharmaceutical Societies, and the Commonwealth Pharmacy Association. The main topic that I'll be covering will be the role of professional organizations in cancer care, and I've put it down into three parts. One is shaping policy and health system reforms. The other part would be building and workforce development, and finally, community engagement and health literacy. So when it comes to shaping policy and healthcare reforms, professional societies are uniquely placed to advocate for improvements through collaboration with the Ministry of Health, with the National Cancer Society, as well as other key stakeholders using platforms. For example, for pharmacies, we use platforms such as the Poison Board, or we use a platform such as the Malaysian National Medicine Policy, which is DUNAS. And during these meetings, we actually push in the policy changes that we would like to see happening for patients suffering from cancer, as well as the policy changes that we would like to see in terms of the healthcare professionals providing care for cancer. Professional societies, they contribute to national strategies, such as the National Strategic Plan for Cancer and Control Program. The current plan, which is from 2021 to 2025, focuses mainly on improving monitoring, surveillance, and capacity building within the healthcare system. It also emphasizes integrating traditional and complementary medicine via introducing a cancer rehabilitation program. So if you look at this particular section, pharmacies are actually quite well placed to contribute to this particular strategic plan. Push for equitable access to early detection, diagnosis, and essential cancer medicines are other things that professional societies are able to advocate for via the channels and the stakeholder engagements. We also support the integration of cancer care into primary care via schemes such as Pekabi 40, My Salam Madani Medical Scheme, and others. I believe that everyone here is on the same page that cancer treatment can be expensive, and at the same time, cancer treatment can be quite challenging for both the patient and its family members. When you integrate with primary care, In primary care, you have general practitioners and you have community pharmacies, both who are very easily accessible and who have already spent a great time building a relationship with their patients. So in terms of cancer treatment, it's not just providing the right medication, but it's also providing the right mindset, assisting the patient with coming to terms with their disease, or also coming to terms with the length of the medication or the length of the treatment they have to go through. So I think primary care healthcare providers are actually very, very well placed to assist with this. We also promote task sharing models. Example, pharmacies supporting cancer patients in pain management, nutrition, and survivorship. Multidisciplinary teams and their impact will be extensively covered by other speakers today, and I think in other tracks as well. In policy, I think it's very important to note that professional societies contribute quite a fair bit through the advocacy for policy change. So, as a professional body, MPS specifically, we always use our voice to advocate for policies that prioritize prevention. We stand ready to support legislation such as the generational endgame for tobacco, which was to ban sales for future generations. Unfortunately, I think as everyone is aware here, we kind of lost that battle. Okay. The next point, capacity building and workforce development. I think this is quite self-explanatory. We lead the professional societies, they lead training and certification programs in either oncology, pharmacy, palliative care, and pharmacovigilance. Right now, for Malaysian Pharmacy Society, I will say that we do quite a fair bit in pharmacovigilance. Coming to oncology pharmacy, the biggest group we see, of course, is with the government pharmacies. You don't really see oncology pharmacies in the private sector yet. But hopefully with changes that the government is going towards in terms of their policy, we will see this change as well. And then when it comes to palliative care, there are some pharmacies who are already involved in this, but again, it's not a very big group. However, I believe that other healthcare professionals such as nurses and doctors are taking up this supportive role in a bigger number. Okay, so further than that, we develop and disseminate practice guidelines and SOPs for cancer-related pharmaceutical care, organize and collaborate on multidisciplinary CPD events, and drive collaboration with academic and clinical partners to embed oncology topics in undergraduate and postgraduate curriculum, champion the role of pharmacists and allied health professionals in cancer prevention and survivorship care. And my third point was community engagement and health literacy. Pharmacies are often the first point of contact for many Malaysians. We use this touch point to drive cancer awareness campaigns, educate on early signs of lifestyle risks, and support access to services such as MQUIT and nutritional counseling. We are also moving into digital counseling to support adherence and follow-up. I think it was just a few days ago, the Prime Minister has highlighted that one of his key objectives will be digital healthcare. So everyone, whether you are studying or whether you are already in practice, should make an effort to improve their knowledge on digital healthcare, not just in terms of using digital products, but also being a service provider in terms of digital healthcare. So this is especially critical for B40 and rural communities where pharmacists may be the only accessible healthcare professional. My slide. Okay. I just happen to be having too many technical issues today. I just like to share this case study. It's a tangible example of prevention in action, which was MPS fight against tobacco. So I believe all of us know smoking is a leading cause of cancer. Instead of just treating lung cancer cases downstream, MPS decided to strike upstream. We mobilized pharmacists in a national smoking cessation initiative, aligning with the Ministry of Health's MQUIT program. Our approach was multifaceted. First, we started training in 2004. And I think there's about 1,500 pharmacists who have been certified as smoking cessation providers. That's an army of skilled counselors in both government and private sector. These pharmacies use their expertise every day to guide smokers on how to quit, setting quit plans, providing nicotine patches or medication, and importantly, motivating them with each follow-up visit. Second, community access. More than 300 pharmacies nationwide are now designated M-Quit centers, meaning people can walk into their local pharmacy and enroll into a quit program. This dramatically expands access to cessation support beyond clinics, into neighborhoods, small towns, anywhere there is a pharmacy. Third, advocacy and awareness. MPS leveraged media to amplify our message. On World No Tobacco Day, for instance, our campaign was featured in national news and also international news, and WHO has recognized Malaysia's efforts at the recent World Health Assembly. And this is just one example. The same model of training, outreach, and partnership can be applied to other preventive areas as well. Okay, so I'm at my last slide. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen throughout this session, cancer care today extends well beyond treatment rooms and chemotherapy wards. In Malaysia, we are fortunate to have professional organizations like the Malaysian Pharmacist Society, the Malaysian Medical Association, and the National Cancer Society Malaysia playing active strategic roles, not just supporting patients but driving them wide change. First, in shaping policy, all professional organizations sit at the table where decisions are made, pushing for equitable access to screening, early diagnosis, affordable medicines, integrated primary care models. This is crucial for reaching our B40 and rural populations. Second, in workforce development, they are strengthening our cancer response by training pharmacists, general practitioners, and allied health professionals to confidently support patients even outside of oncology settings. This is where true decentralization begins. And third, in empowering our communities through campaign, counseling, and sustained health literacy efforts, this people-centered approach is what will help us shift from a reactive system to a preventive, person-centered model. Unfortunately, ultimately, not unfortunately, oh dear. Okay, ultimately, these organizations serve as a bridge, linking government, professionals, and the rakyat, and their role will only grow in importance as Malaysia navigates in aging population and rising NCD burden. So as we move forward, the call is clear: stronger partnerships, greater interprofessional collaboration, and deeper community engagement will be the foundation for a future where cancer is no longer a death sentence, but a manageable, survivable journey. Together, we can move from advocacy to action and ensure that no Malaysian faces cancer alone. Thank you. Together, we go beyond treatment.